Right, so welcome back to our channel. We've decided to answer some questions about our relationship. Dustin's filmed his section and I'm going to film my section. So these are questions that we think you might find interesting, or maybe you just think, I'll get over yourselves. But anyway, we're going to subject you to it. So let's start with our questions.
Hello everybody, I'm returning for my third segment, but I think it's going to be posted as segment number 2. Just to go in kind of order of what we're trying to put together here. And my name's Dustin. For those that are tuning in maybe for the first time, and I hope you guys are doing good this evening. It's about 7:30 here, and my day's just wrapping up, and I wanted to end it by talking to you guys. So me and Sarah, a little recap. We're doing this channel to share our journey, and with maybe people in similar situations that are just fell in love, and maybe some of them are even met like we met, which is awesome, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I'm not the best at this, so just bear with me. I hope to get better as I go along, and yeah. So I'm going to start by answering some questions we came up with. Sarah and me, we both went back and forth on asking these questions, and we thought maybe these are some questions that people want to hear, and secondly, that it fills in any gaps that might be as far as how we met and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess I can launch right into it, huh? So questions of this is about our relationship. We met unorthodox. We met online through a website called Write a Prisoner. It's a platform that helps build relations for guys that are getting out of prison. Try to reconnect them with civilians, I guess you would say, people that aren't familiar with being incarcerated, but that want to offer help and support to people that have been incarcerated, that are incarcerated. It's called writeaprisoner.com. It was on the Oprah show and several other stuff like that back when it first launched. I'm really grateful for that website. So when I posted, I had no idea that it would end with a relationship. There was not a goal. It was just to get reconnected with people that were living life out here, and just to normalize myself with that kind of group of people. And that's after being incarcerated so long. It's really hard to deal and grasp with a lot of emotions and a lot of feelings that go with living life on the outside. Living on the inside's simple but hard. It's simple for the fact that our meals are provided for. We have a warm place to sleep. We don't have to pay rent. But it's hard as far as the environment and the mentalities and stuff in there. It can be kind of traumatic. Absolutely. Lots of violence. I've seen so much violence. Pointless violence. Over 35 cents. My buddy wrote me that's still in there, and that's what he said. He said he's seen somebody get their head caved in because of 35 cents on a commissary order still owed. 35 cents, you could lose your life. And it just touched home with me. It really affected me when he told me that, because it just doesn't make any sense at all. Nothing in there makes sense. But anyway, that's not what this is about today. This is about relationships, and in particular ours. Mine and Sarah's. Like I said, we met on Write a Prisoner. August 12th of 2021 is when she sent me basically a friend request, I guess it would be. Is you get on there and you can go through profiles on her end, and then you can pick people you may want to correspond with. And as soon as you pick that people, it adds them onto my contact list to say I was inside it. It added her onto my contact list. I could see. So I wrote her an email first and telling her thank you for responding, and I look forward to the opportunity of maybe getting to know her. That was simply it. I didn't care who wrote, man or woman, whatever. I was just looking to normalize myself upon my release in 2 years, to hopefully surround myself with like-minded people that weren't prisoners. Because that just weren't prisoners. I was really over that. I needed different conversation and stuff to move forward in my recovery, to move forward in my life. I just needed it different. Hearing the same crap every day sucks, man. I promise you that. It's like Groundhog's Day. And you got to live in a bathroom with another man. It's terrible, guys. Terrible. What was my first impression of you? So this would be my first impression of Sarah. I didn't really, when she added to the context, it was just mystery, wondering who would take the time to write me, and I was really grateful. But when I seen her picture, I'm not gonna lie, man, I was like, wow. And it would kind of only cut, she took a picture where it only showed half her face, like, basically, and then because she was showing her dog off in one, and then and stuff like that. I think her dog she was showing her dog off in one, she was sitting in her car in the other one. But I needed the rest of the face. I mean, what I could see was stunning. She was absolutely stunning, and you guys will get the chance to see who she is, and then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, she was absolutely stunning. But I was like, wow, she looked so put together and so professional and so just different than the people I've surrounded myself with. She looked like freedom in a picture. She's just well put together, and I was like, wow, that's what I thought. Even though it wasn't about that, it was wow. It was wow.
So what was your first impression of me? So my first impression of Dustin was that he came across very honest, very sincere, very genuine. He was very open, and the one thing that I really liked about him was you know, like you go on a dating site or you have a dating app and people are just like sexually inappropriate. He wasn't sexually inappropriate. Like, he was asking questions that were about me. He wanted to get to know me as a person, and that was one of the first impressions that I noted about him, and that really stood out. And I actually genuinely felt that he wanted to take time and invest in me as much as I wanted to invest in him.
What was in the number question 2, what was the first impression you got when you watched my video? So the first impression I got when I watched her video was she was super nervous. I could just tell she was just like really giddy, but she was just nervous. But again, wow. The first impression I got is she came across so unique, like, and refreshing, and just I can't even explain it, you guys. I just can't even explain it. It's something you'd have to experience in my shoes to know what I'm talking about. It just wasn't like your everyday, hey, how are you passing by? You see somebody, or a woman in particular. It wasn't that. It really just stopped me in my shoes, and I was like, wow, she wants to write me. Whoa, and then I got to thinking, I wonder what's wrong with her. I wonder why she wants to write me. That's what my buddy told me too when he seen her picture. He's like, what does she want to write you for? I'm like, shut up, fool. That's a joke, but yeah. So anyway, that's my first impression was another shocker, honestly.
Hi Dustin. Well, I said I would do a videogram, and I feel like I've taken like 10 attempts to do it, 'cause I'm my own worst critique. So yeah, last night I went back to work for the first time since my annual leave, and I literally have had 3.5 hours sleep today, and I've got to go back in, and I'm so tired. Anyway, I hope this finds you well, and my time is running up because I'm looking at the clock at the top. Goodbye. What was the first impression you had about me when you saw my first ever videogram? So the videograms were like 30 seconds long, they weren't very much. I'm actually going to insert Dustin's videogram here. So my first impression was, I remember I was really excited to get it and see that there was a videogram. I was like, oh, this is so exciting. But then I opened it, and then I just went, oh. I was like, okay, I really like the voice, I really like the accent, he seemed very friendly, and I was attracted to him straight away. And I remember something just stirred in my stomach, and I was like, uh-oh, because I know at that point that I'd probably want more, and I knew that I was gonna like him. Like, that was my first impression of his videogram.
Good morning, Sarah. I just wanted to send you a little videogram. We're allowed to actually send 30-second videograms. I just wanted to say hello, and you have a great day. Okay, bye.
And question 3, it's a joint going question. She's going to be answering these too, and we didn't really go over our answers with each other too much, because I want to be just as involved in wanting to know more when I watch hers, or when I think about what she's going to say, as maybe some of you guys are when you watch. I hope that you guys want to follow us, and if you do, you can click follow, and then please leave comments and questions, and I will try to get back and answer them as soon as I can. And I hope you're kind. I hope you guys are kind to me. So when did I feel I wanted to go to the next level with you? I felt I wanted to go to the next level with her from day one, right when she first wrote me. The next level would be to getting to know her, then be her friend, and then at that point it evolved into something else, and I started to get feelings for her after probably a month, and then I fell in love with her in 3 months. It's just, it happened. I never thought it would happen like that. I was very secure at that time in my incarceration, and that time in my life, really confident and secure as far as I knew what I wanted, and it wasn't a relationship. It was the last thing I was looking for, was a relationship, and especially starting one when you're incarcerated. I mean, I've seen that in other people, and it always baffled me. It always baffled me when I seen in other people too. They would get a pen pal, and then they fell in love, and then people ended up getting married and stuff, and it would just blew me away. I could not comprehend why. Now I know why. When you meet somebody, I think the best time is when you're not expecting it. Is when it's not something you're looking for. It happened to me, man, and it happened hard.
So when did you feel that you wanted to go to the next level in our relationship? So I sent him a video of me showing how to do like a hypnosis video, and I remember sending it, and then the 2 videos he sent afterwards, I remember him going, "Oh, you looked fucking gorgeous in that." And I remember watching his body language and his facial features, and I remember thinking, that was the first time I thought, oh, actually this answers another question. When did you realise that I liked you? This was the point, and this was also the point when I knew that I wanted to take it to the next level, because I could see something, and it stirred emotions in me. Like, it excited me to see that reaction in him, that actually he liked me. It made me feel good, because I knew that I wanted to move on as well. So that was probably the point where I wanted to move to the next level.
So question 4 is, how did you know it was true love and not infatuation? Well, compared to now, or compared to the relationship that we're in now, and knowing her as a person and a human, as a woman, and I compare it. I don't compare her as a person, but I compare the situation to prior relationships that I've had, and that was total infatuation. It was always based on sex. It was based on looks. It was based on everything. I guess fleshly is what you would call it in Christian talk, or in spiritual talk. It's the flesh versus the spirit. You know what I mean? But anyway, it was all about hormones, feeling something, stuff like that. It was all sexual, completely sexual. My prior relationships. In this way, I wanted to know everything about her, and not just sex. Obviously, I was attracted to her. I'm a 45-year-old male, and she's a beautiful 40-year-old woman, and obviously I'm attracted to her. But I didn't, man, I know it's love by the level of just the level of emotion we've went into. I can't even put it into words. It's something that it just incorporates my whole being, my heart, my gut, and my head. It's just total. It's just so different and new. I've never had this with a woman, little as a person. This level of everything. We talk about anything and everything. I'm telling you, I mean everything. We go deep, we go shallow, we go level, we go everything, and it just flows. It's like some smooth waves, man. It even flow. I also knew by the return. So I was putting into it, and I was wanting to get to know her, and I was asking questions, and I was curious, but she was also. The level of return was equal. It was, or more, but it was never less. Never, ever, ever less. And with infatuation in relationships, it's generally one-sided. For me, that's how it's been, is one-sided. I'm just really like, and it's all hormones. Like, I don't want to get vulgar or anything, but you know what I'm talking about. Usually, in most relationships that I've had, it's just been sexually based, or drugs were involved, or whatever. But it was never. I never really wanted to get to know that person. That's the difference here too. Is I want to know everything about her. So yeah, but definitely the return on it. Look at me, I'm rambling and rumbling. She just, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. That's all I talk about is her, man. I'm sure my friends are getting burnt out on it.
So how did you know it was real love and not just infatuation? I knew it was real love and not infatuation because I've never been infatuated with anybody. Never. Like never. I don't go into relationships or dating like that. Like, I'm quite clinical in my approach. I view somebody as where could this go? I view things very much in future sense, and not in the short term. So even if somebody was attractive, if there was something else missing, I wouldn't pursue it if I couldn't see a future. So I wouldn't say I've ever been infatuated. No, I don't think I would. I'm thinking about that. I think infatuation is such a strong word. But I am now. I'm infatuated and in love. You can have the two. So yeah, I know it's real love, or at least I think it is, because I've never experienced this before, because it ticks all the boxes, and as he would say, it checks, tick tick tick, it ticks all the boxes. And like, I feel like we communicate really well. I feel like he's going to be my best friend, he's going to be my lover, my husband. He's the person that I want to go to if I'm struggling. He's the person that I would want to tell if something good happens in my life. He's the first person I think of. I think about him all the time. Like, this is kind of like an obsession. It's just everything, and it's a feeling inside that you can't always explain as well. And that's how I feel.
Did you ever want to put on the brakes, or because it was moving too fast? Absolutely not. Matter of fact, I wanted it to go faster and faster and faster, because I just can't get enough of her. And early on, I couldn't get enough of her. I never once wanted to put on the brakes. I'll let her answer that, but I'm pretty sure she's going to say she didn't want to put on the brakes either. No.
Did you ever want to put the brakes on because you thought it was moving too fast? I never wanted to put the brakes on because I thought it was moving too fast. Did I want to stop and reflect on some stuff at points in the relationship? Yes, because there were things from Dustin's past that I found extremely difficult to process and think about. And once you know something, it's in your head and it goes round and round and round, and it of course pushed my values and beliefs that I would have, if that had come from anybody else, I would have probably said, I don't want to see you again, I don't want to know, you know. So there were times when I paused to think, but again, it goes back to, there's just something about Dustin that made me continue with that relationship. And also, more importantly, I actually chose to see the man that was presenting myself at that present time and not the person in the past, which I think is something that I've learnt to do in recent years, you know, not to be so judgmental. I've definitely been judgmental in the past, definitely. But as far as keep moving forward, we've always kept moving forward.
What was different about me than any others? Everything was different. She is of high moral character. She doesn't put up with no shit, man. She just don't. She speaks her mind. She knows what she wants. She lays it out there. If I want to be a part of it, fine. If not, then life's too short. And it's made me really want to pursue it even more, because she's just not settling. She doesn't want to settle, and that's different. The women that I was involved with and the relationships that I chased were just different. There's nothing about her that is the same as any other person that I've ever been with. It's just truly amazing. This is a joint question too. She's going to answer it also, but did you ever want to put on the brakes? No, I never want to put on the brakes. Let's see where we are. Sorry, people. Bear with me. I will get this finished. Yeah, what was different about me than any others? As you can tell, this was one of her questions. The way I wrote it, different than me about it. And it goes the same way. What was different about me than any others? I mean, for me, she actually wanted to get to know me. For her, I want to get to know her. I want to take the time. I don't half hear it like yeah. So well, what do you like to do? You really into that? Oh yeah. What are you gonna be doing later? You know, and you just yeah. Now I'm rumbling. It's like engaging in a conversation with somebody, and they only say that just to be nice, but they don't care. They don't want to take the time to get to know you. And I think that's very important. Very important. Very important.
What is different about me to any others? Oh, it's completely different. It's completely different. You know, in my 20s I dated quite professional people, a lot of military people, and then in my 30s I dated people from different cultures and different backgrounds. And Dustin comes from a background of substance abuse, crime, as he would term it, rock and roll lifestyle, just completely different lifestyles that we've led. But the one thing I've learned, it doesn't matter what somebody, if they don't have much, or if maybe they have committed crime, or if you're dating somebody who's got a really job, say they were a really successful banker, at the end of the day it's how that person treats you. And he has been nothing but loving, respectful, consistent. He thinks about my feelings, and he's having to learn about how to be in a relationship and to not have a toxic relationship, because we've both had toxic relationships in our lives and both of us are learning. But I can honestly say I've never felt like this, never. Like, it ticks, and our communication is really, really good. And I'm not the best communicator at all. I struggle with communicating. I struggle with telling somebody how I feel. Usually I used to need a drink. If I had to say something, because I was too afraid to say it, I would have a drink. I don't have that with Dustin. If something's bothering me, I tell him. I would say, give me 5 minutes. You've upset me. Or, you know, I didn't like the way you said that, and we talk through it. And that's the same for him. We're very sensitive to each other's needs because we both react the same way. Actually, we do. We're very similar like that, and that comes down to past hurts and trauma. But we get each other. We actually understand each other, even though our lives are so very different, and the lives we've led are so very different. We actually get each other, and that's refreshing. And also, he's my equal. I've never seen him beneath me or that I'm above him, whereas in previous relationships I never felt that I matched up. I never felt I was somebody's equal. I didn't think I was good enough for them. I didn't think I was pretty enough for them. I didn't think I earned enough money for them. I didn't have a nicest car as them. I didn't have as good a job as them. I wasn't as sociable as them. I never felt equal with anybody, and that's what is different. I do feel equal with Dustin, and that is so important to feel that, because otherwise it just breeds resentment, and I just don't feel that.
How did you feel when you first told me you loved me? Man, I was scared, dude. I was scared, and that goes with a lot of the old behaviors and in a lot of what I've gotten out of relationships. I was scared because I couldn't. I couldn't have took it if she would have rejected me. I couldn't. It just would have been devastating to me because I'd shared so much with her already. But yeah, I was scared. That was the first thing. It was fear. For real. I just didn't want to be rejected again. But once I did, it was freeing. Absolutely. Because it was out there, and good or bad, it was out there. But she didn't react negatively. She didn't say, I don't know, you're moving kind of fast, or you're this. Never, no judgment. Yeah, so it felt freeing and fearful at the same time.
This was a Dustin question. How did you feel when I told you that I loved you? I was so excited. I did drop hints. I did kind of drop a hint just before, and I thought, I wonder if he'll take the bait. He took the bait. Yeah, he did. And he told me he loved me, and I read it just before going into work, and I was so frustrated because I wanted to really take in that moment and enjoy it, but instead I had to take it in work. But it was really, really special, and he said some most beautiful things. Shall I share? Shall I not? We'll see in the next clip whether I do or not. But yes, it was a very special moment, definitely.
So I just wanted to do some further documentation in a videogram to you. So you just answered back when I told you how I love you and I'm in love with you, and you're at work on your break right now. Gosh, it's so loud in here. You're at work on your break right now, and then you wrote back and told me that you would like to just copy my words verbatim, but you wanted to come up with your own words, and that you feel the same way and we're in love.
And what was the funniest moment? So one of the funniest moments for me personally was when early on in our relationship, she a couple of things, but this really showed me that she had personality in that, and she did this video where she did an imitation of her prime minister at the time, Boris Johnson, and she acted just like him, but she moved her hair around, and just it was I laugh thinking about this now. Maybe she'll share that video with you guys. I mean, it really shows her in a goofy light there.
Right, so I tried to do my hair tonight. I tried to curl it. I got one little curl, and then this bit, I don't know what's going on. I'll be looking like Boris Johnson. The economy's fine, everybody, especially for us rich people. I'm just the worst, honestly. I'm no good at jokes, honestly. I try and be funny, but my daughter goes, "You're cringy," and I'm like, okay. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to cinema. I'm going to see James Bond. Hopefully it's good.
I mean, it really shows her in a goofy light that she is so well put together and stuff when she films, and just way more comfortable at it than I am. But yeah, because if you never met her, when you meet Sarah, you're going to think she's aloof and maybe kind of stuck up, but that's so far from the truth. She has compassion for the humankind. I mean, she wants to help people. She hates to see people hurting. It makes her heart ache, and you can tell by once you get to know her that's the case. She takes people's hurts and she carries them, and it's sad and painful to watch her hurt for other people. For me, because I don't like to see her hurt, and tears are whoa, that's a no go. I can't get with that with her. It hurts me to see her hurt, but. Yeah, what was one of the sweetest moments in our relationship? That was one of the funniest moments in our relationship. One of the sweetest moments in our relationship, and I may have touched on that in the other videos. I kind of cut these in the middle, and I had a hard time sending this first one. It was like 18 minutes, and you got to keep them down to like 7 minutes to send them on the app that we're sending them on. So I've lost one in between. So I may be repeating myself. So hopefully Sarah is a good editor when she does sit down to do this, and she can fit it all together. What was one of the sweetest moments in our relationship? The sweetest is when she sung me a song at Christmas, our first Christmas in 2021, and she sung me Santa Baby.
Right, so you always say, give me a song, so I'm going to give you a song. It's a Christmas song, and I'm really nervous, but I need the tree. Okay, ready? Santa baby, so come and slip a zipper under my tree tonight. I've been an awfully good girl, Santa baby, so come and hurry down the chimney tonight. I'm out of time, but I don't care. What was the funniest moment? I have the funniest moment in my head, but I'm not going to share it because it's like a bit ooh la la. Actually, there's been quite a few funny moments since, and yeah, cut.
Baby, and it was so unexpected because she's so reserved, and I'd never seen that part of her come out in a different way. But she sang it to me, and it was so beautiful and touching, and it made me cry, and proudly. I mean, absolutely made me cry. She sung to me, and she looked at me when she was looking in that camera, and she was singing right to me. And it was so off character because I just never thought she would ever do anything like that. And she constantly surprises me like that, constantly doing stuff. And then another sweet moment that really sticks out is she wrote me some letters. And I hope I'll be able to share those with you. I'll find them in my stuff, and then maybe I can read some of you. Some of it's personal, obviously, but they were the first letters she ever written me by hand. They were early on in our relationship, and just the stuff that she wrote in there really carried me through. And she told me in them letters, she says, you know, when you're feeling down, or you're feeling like it's impossible, or you think I'm going to give up, I want you to think of these words. And they've really helped me pull through, even after some tragedy that I went through later in my incarceration. Some really, really hard stuff on us, and I talk about that a little bit later on in these videos.
What was one of the sweetest moments in our relationship? Definitely letters, full of love. But I think, if I think about some of the sweetest moments, he sent me a dog. He had a dog made for me. It was a King Charles Spaniel, and it was because in my New Year's resolutions I said I wanted another dog, and he had that made for me and gave it me as a gift and said until we get our own puppy. And that was really touching, and I loved it. It was so beautiful. I'm going to insert a clip.
I knew it accorded. He said to me, it's one of the New Year's resolutions that you wanted, which was adding to the bed.
But there have been so many lovely moments and sweet moments and cards that he sent. Even a letter on the envelope with a little heart, and I think there was a teddy bear, and I was like, oh my god, what must my postman think? I only am writing to somebody incarcerated in America, but it's got hearts on, and my postman's in no doubt what kind of letters these are now. But yeah, just those little touches, they're so romantic. The gestures of romance is just, I've never experienced it, and I thought I was too cold for it, but actually I've loved it. I love it.
What was our first date? The Age of Adeline was our first date. It was on Halloween of 2021. And it was via video, obviously, because she was in England and I was in Boise, Idaho. But we decided on a movie. We could get tablets in there and we could rent movies and put them on our tablets. And that's what we did. We picked a movie out, and The Age of Adeline, well, she let me pick it out. And it's a love story about a woman who never ages. Yeah, anyway, I'm sure you guys have heard of it. If not, you can Google that. But yeah, so that was our first date, and it made me feel so close to her. We were emailing the whole time. We were doing it back and forth. In Boise, you get pretty much instant communication. Like, you send an email, within a couple minutes they receive it. It gets caught in a system that screens it. And certain keywords will freeze it up for a week or two, which is silly, and they're stupid words. If you put the number 13 in there, it would just hold your emails for weeks until investigations released it. But in the feds, it's a little different. If you send emails there, they're held for hours, both ways. So yeah, it was instant communication for us. Really strengthened our relationship in the beginning. If it wasn't for them emails, I don't know. I personally believe in true love. I have to. After 3 months, I was falling madly in love with her, and she'd fallen in love with me, and so there was something there before I can give email all the credit. JPay, you don't get all the credit. Write a Prisoner, you ain't getting all the credit. But yeah, so our first date was The Age of Adeline, via email, man, and tablet. And then we communicated like that, and it was just neat. So anybody out there that's in a similar situation where a loved one's locked up or you guys are separated, and this is probably the only way you can communicate, I highly suggest you guys maybe set a date night aside. And even if you filmed it back and forth, you guys doing something, cooking a meal together or something like that, it would be really, really help your relationship. I guarantee you'll feel closer to your spouse, your loved one, your friend.
What was our first date? Age of Adeline! That was our first date, and it was very strange that we were both watching. We were on the other side of the world, and he was in prison and I was in my bed, and we were watching Age of Adeline together and messaging in between, and that was our first date. And that's how you date when you're dating somebody incarcerated. Right, so I'm ready. But we have a little guest. We have a gate crusher. Look. Oh, he's just so sweet. So yeah, I am ready for the first date night.
So yeah, that was our first date, The Age of Adeline, and yeah, I'll never forget it. I've never been on a date like that, virtual, and it was really special, and it was just really special. But before the date, she was downstairs talking into the thing, and then all of a sudden she started spinning in circles. Hey, we're gonna dance, and she was just a whole different person. The more I've gotten to know her, is more different than I guarantee anybody that really knows her has seen about her. And it's been an honor. It's been a privilege to get to know her, the real her, and to see her come out of her shell, and she looks so good in love. Oh man, she does. She's in love with me, and I'm in love with her. But I feel like I'm talking to her at the same time, because you will be tuning in, huh, Sarah? Yes, you will. She's probably going to cut that, you guys. So, next question. How did I know you liked me? Well, I wasn't 100% sure that she liked me. I could kind of tell, though, by how she was progressing and opening up to me. And I didn't want to read too much into it, because I've done that in my life, and it served me no justice usually, because it's usually just, it swims around in here and thinks of its own answers and stuff. My thoughts do to make me feel certain ways. Whatever, that's complicated, but we'll get into that later. But anyway, I wasn't 100% sure. But I kind of thought she did. I didn't know if she was on that love stage that I was falling in love with, and that was a big step when I finally did admit that to her. What did you think and feel when I asked you to be my girlfriend? And that was a question for her, but that could go either way. You know what I mean? What did I think and feel when I asked her to be my girlfriend? Complete nervousness, man. I had no idea what I was doing. I thought, I'm just crazy. I'm going to ask a woman that's living on the streets, and I'm sitting in prison. I have nothing to offer her but me, which, that don't pay the bills, people. They just don't. But she wasn't looking for that. She could pay her own bills. She ain't looking for a kid to take care of. She's looking for somebody to share her life with. But that's what I learned about her later on. But yeah, she didn't need me to pay her bills. She didn't need me to do that. She's been doing that just fine. But she's going to have to answer that one, how I made her feel when I asked her to be my girlfriend. I know the answer. She told me because I locked her down on it.
I was really excited. I was like overwhelmed. I had all these emotions, yay, but also a little bit of nervousness in case it wasn't genuine or sincere. Was I just something to fill his time and entertainment while he was in prison? But those were my doubts, those were my concerns. But over time I realised that no, it was genuine, and he's out now and it's 100% genuine. So yeah, I'm going to insert the clip to me saying, yes, I'll be your girlfriend. Right, so by the time you probably get this message, hopefully you'll have got the photo where I said yes. This is absolutely crazy and insane. And I don't really know what's happened the last 2 months, but I'm just like, no, it's made me super, super happy. And now I'm going to get tongue twisted, and I'm getting nervous and I don't know what to say. I think I should go.
What was the hardest point in our relationship? I'm going to go with her. We talked So early last year, in January of last year, when I went to the feds, within a couple of weeks, I lost like 15 pounds. And then a couple more weeks, I lost some more weight. All total, by October of last year, I had lost 40 pounds. And I didn't feel good. My stomach hurt all the time. So I went to the doctor and they started running tests on me. Because my family has a history of cancer, they thought maybe I had colon cancer, and they scheduled a colonoscopy. But before that, he did a full physical on me. So they weighed me, and I'd lost 10 pounds like in a week. And he was like, "What the heck?" And he said he'd never seen that before. So anyway, yeah, they put me in for a colonoscopy because cancer had run in my family. My father died of liver cancer, blah blah blah. But I'll get to that eventually, I'm sure too. But they did that just to check all the boxes. And he ordered a bunch of blood work, and then he did a digital rectal exam, and my prostate was swollen. So he said, your prostate's enlarged, so we're going to do a colonoscopy. And then I went forward with my colonoscopy a month or two later. But I kept losing weight. I got down to about 137, and I was 187 when I went into federal custody. So from January until October, I'd lost all that weight completely, and I couldn't put it on. And I still had an appetite, but I just didn't feel good. I felt fatigued. I didn't feel good, and so I got transferred from Oregon in October of last year to Florence, Colorado in October. And that's where they did the full physical and stuff on me. And when I had my colonoscopy, they touched my prostate when they were in there. Before they went in there, they did a digital rectal exam themselves. And he said, "Oh, your prostate's enlarged. Let's get a PSA test." So they did a PSA test back, and mine came back at 27, which is super high. It came back at 27, and then they scheduled me for a biopsy. And 2 months later, I got a biopsy done, and it showed that over half my prostate had cancer in it. So that's prostate cancer is bad, but considering all the symptoms that I had, I won't get into them. It doesn't matter. But I had a lot of symptoms. So I basically made it in there too late is what it was looking like. And then they told me that to really prepare myself that the cancer had probably spread, and I was going to need chemo. And that was just off of a few, a digital rectal exam and a prostate PSA of 27. And the doctor that come and told me that, she says, "I've been doing this a long time, and I wouldn't be surprised if this hasn't spread to your lymph nodes already," and blah, 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 blah. And I was freaked out, man. I thought I was going to freaking die in there, dude. And they kept giving me advice like that and telling me things like that it was just horrible. That's the most traumatic thing I ever went through. They have like 4 doctors there, and they're all telling you basically your time's limited. You're going to do chemo, and that's basically just extends your life 90% of the time. That's what chemo is given for, to extend life. It's not given to cure cancer. So they're telling me chemo, and they're telling me all this stuff, and I really thought I was going to die in there. And I'm sitting in there, and then I get locked in medical, and 24 hours a day, and it was terrible. It's the worst thing I ever went through. And then just the stuff that I would write, and she didn't leave, man. She didn't leave. She stayed. hung around. Most people would think maybe she just stayed around so she didn't look like the shitty girlfriend who left her old man when he got cancer, but that wasn't it. I told her, I said, I want you happy, and you're not happy right now. You're waiting on me, and they're telling me I might die, so I'm sharing that with my family and my girlfriend and my sons, and I thought I was going to die, man. And it really messed me up in here, and I kept getting sicker and sicker. But dealing with that year that we dealt with that, because I got diagnosed in March of this year. So last year, October, they did all that, and they finally diagnosed me in March. I got up to the point of diagnosis October, November, December, January, February, March. 6 months later, it took them to get me to that point after a biopsy. In March, I got diagnosed March 14th. They came and told me I had cancer. Be prepared. It's going to be really bad. And then we just started going through all that. I had tons of tests after that. And then when I did have an MRI done, it showed that it had spread outside my prostate, that it was in the seminal vesicles, and that it was in several other places. And so it wasn't looking good. The prognosis was not good. I honestly thought I was going to die. Maybe not that day, but by cancer was going to kill me. And and they told me it was really aggressive. Is what they told me. So anyway, fast forward to September. I got out in November of this year. Fast forward to September, I finally went through and got my surgery done. I had a radical prostatectomy, robot assisted. They took my lymph nodes out. They took my prostate out. They took my seminal vesicles out. They were able to spare both nerves. But when they did the pathology on it, it had not moved into the seminal vesicles. The cancer hadn't, but the MRI said it had. It wasn't in any of my lymph nodes. I just found this out in September. I got the pathology back in October. So a year later, when I started losing weight and having symptoms, but it did show it spread into my bladder a little bit. So, but anyway, I'm dealing with that right now, and I'm waiting to see how low my PSA test drops, so I see if I have to do radiation or not. But it's not going to be chemo. It looks like it's not going to be chemo. So, but dealing with that, and each of us thinking that we were going to lose each other before we even got a chance to try in a relationship, to do a relationship together. It's one of the hardest things I've ever dealt with in my life. I fell so hard and deep in love with this woman, and then to feel that was going to be taken away from me, I was so angry. And to think that I wasn't going to be a father to my son, or to meet my daughters, who I've met now, by the way. And they turned out wonderful, by the way. One is a mother of two and has a wonderful husband, and the other one is still lives. They were adopted when they were younger, but still lives at home right now. But she's wonderful too. She works every day and stuff, and all that good stuff. But they turned out wonderful. Nothing like me, thank God. They don't have substance abuse issues. And then my son's 17, and he lives here and where I'm at, and I get to see him every day and stuff. But thinking I'm not going to get out and be a father was just terrible, or a brother, or a friend, or I got on a poor pity me pod. It was horrible. I can't say that enough. But to think that we weren't going to get a chance to be together, and after we had so many plans and stuff like that, it was really hard. It's just, I don't know if any of you have been told that you're going to die and then you don't, but to be told you're going to die and then be locked in a cell 23 hours a day, 24 hours a day it should be illegal. It's horrible. But so that was the hardest part in our relationship. So far was the cancer, but I've had pretty good news since I got out. It looks like they got most of it. It was microscopic in my bladder, but my PSA test is still dropping. Not fast enough yet, but it's still dropping. So if I have to do chemo, I will. It's followed by some testosterone therapy. So,
what was the hardest point in our relationship? Obviously, the cancer, not knowing what was going on, how he was doing. The results of things, everything was on delay, and he was in the shoe and had little contact. He was scrambling for paper to write Arnold, and he would write in pencil. I would get letters and I couldn't even read them. I'd have to use the torch on my phone and shine it on the paper so I could read the words. Like, it was really hard, really difficult, that point in our relationship and everything that was going on, to not be there for him and not be able to offer support was really difficult, and it was really painful because I should have been there, and could I have done more? And I know at the start I was trying to send real like visualization visualization letters to try and encourage him to think positively. Like, I believe that positive thoughts does impact your health. I don't practice it because I'm a negative person, but I was trying to encourage him to practice it by visualizing different things we could do together in the future. And then I think when it just got to the point where nothing was happening with his surgery, months were passing by, his health was deteriorating, his mental health was just as it would be, and it just, I remember just having such severe anxiety, worrying about everything and not knowing what to do, and the pressure of it all, that it was really hard. It was so hard to, it was hard to write back as well. I did, but not as consistently as I had done prior. But my mental health was affected as well, and we were both struggling, and we both needed each other, and we couldn't be with each other. So that was probably the hardest point in the relationship.
What is your biggest fear about us? So mine personally, I can't answer for her, is that we're just not going to, we're not going to get the opportunity to be together, that some outside force is going to stop it, because we got to go through immigration. She has to move here, and they can do whatever they want. She's coming here. We've had a prior relationship, but I am a felon, and we just don't know how immigration is going to work out. It's very, 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 it's very worrisome. I feel we'll invest all this time, and we don't lack love. And then still not be able to be together, it'll just feel like the cruelest trick in the world. It would just crush me. It would just empty me out. And I know it would her too. It's our plans. We have plans. We want to eventually buy a piece of land and build our own home and live off grid, not so far out of the city, like on a lot of them shows and stuff you guys see and I've seen, where they're like 50, 60 miles outside of town. I don't want to be 20 minutes outside the city, or 30 would be fine, because I still obviously have to work and stuff like that. But yeah, we want to get our own piece of land and build our own home, and we hope to share that journey with you guys if you still tune into us. If we do navigate the immigration process pretty good, and then we do get the chance to be together, then that'll be what we will strive for. We got a lot of stuff we want to accomplish. We want to get married, and she gets a fiance visa. We have to marry within 3 months of getting that. So we hope to include you guys in all of that. If you guys still tune in.
Okay, so what is your biggest fear for us in the future? My biggest fear is immigration. I don't have any fears about me and him. I trust him, and I never thought I would ever say that about Guy, but I do. I trust him. He's given me the passwords to his social media, so yeah, I trust him. And you're sat there going, yeah, but have you actually tried the passwords? No, I haven't. The day I do is when I don't trust him. But my biggest fear is immigration. What would be your first perfect day? I don't like dressing up. I hate it. It makes me feel pressured, and then if I'm overdressed, then if we're out and people look because I'm overdressed, I feel self-conscious, and I just don't like it. Eek. So I would rather just go to the cinema, get some popcorn, share that popcorn, and cuddle up and just feel cozy and loving and all of that sort of thing, like just natural, and just go home, get your shoes off, get a drink, get hot chocolate, you know, be on the couch and just talk and laugh and giggle and everything else that comes at the end of the night.
And what would be our first perfect in-person date? So I did answer this already, and she answered it. So I'm going to kind of tell you what I said. A perfect one for me is I want to get dressed up with her, because I want to see how ravishing she is when she's dressed up with diamond earrings and a pearl necklace and a black dress and her hair up. And this ways I imagine seeing her, and then maybe going to like a club, a jazz club, and dancing all close and to the sound of jazz music, and just in person would be just totally awesome. That would be a perfect date. But also she brought up the fact that she said, I'm a simple girl. I would just like to go to a movie where we just dress normal and just go to a movie. And I just go to dinner and go to a movie. That's a perfect date. Because basically it's just spending time together. That's perfect. That's good enough, you know, and she's so right. So I would be the guy that was trying to kiss his girlfriend the whole movie, though. You know what I mean? That's the kind of guy I would be. I'd be trying to kiss her every chance I got. So, but she said she could handle it. So yeah, I've had a long day, you guys. So those are pretty much the questions that we have so far, and I just want to thank you guys if you've made it this far, and if you've tuned in, and if you like anything in this video, please follow me, and then follow Sarah, and just click follow. I guess that's what she calls it, and subscribe to us, and I hope you guys tune in, and if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. So thank you. Have a good night.
So if you've managed to get through this video, congratulations. If you like it as well, please like and subscribe for further content. Your support and your kindness in the comments would be much appreciated. We will see you next time for another video. Bye.